Right now at 5, we take a look at new laws going into effect this year in the state of Oklahoma.
I know we got a chilly start to the day out there. It's going to be breezy and a little warmer. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a fitness center in Joplin welcomes everybody trying to make their New Year's health resolutions a reality.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. Of course, I was not here for the first day of 2025, no. But hopefully everything went well. Happy New Year.
Yes.
Boy, we've made it, and 2025
have.
looks to be kicking off with a bit of a bang in the weather department at least. So there's still a lot to talk about, and now that we're closer, I can kind of break down some of the crazy stuff that we're looking at, so you folks at home get an idea as to why there's so many variables and what those variables look like. But we'll do that in a few minutes. Some of you heading back to work today. Yes. It's weird having a random day off in the middle of the week. I don't think I've had that happen in almost 8 years here, where it's just been one day.
For most folks, they've been off for maybe even a week or just a few days here and there, so it's back to normal.
It is back to normal, at least for a couple of days. And we're going to start normally with a look outside from downtown Pittsburgh. Things looking good. We are cloudy this morning. Believe it or not, the clouds will thin out and then they'll return. There is some extraordinarily light flurries up north of Osceola, and that's really about it. There's nothing else really going on today, which is good, because last time I was here on that was yesterday, on Tuesday, there were some questions as to whether or not we'd see any kind of precipitation today, and we are not going to, which is actually, believe it or not, a good thing. Murdoch camera, 20th and Rangeline, looking good as well. Onto the future track we go. So again, see, the clouds actually I didn't pause this. I apologize. There's a lot going on with the winter weather. I've been working on a lot of stuff, which you'll see in a few minutes. But as you saw, clouds initially were mostly clear through a good portion of the morning. As we head into the afternoon, those clouds, though, will thicken up across the area. Again, chilly this morning, 35 in Joplin, 34 over in Pittsburgh. A look at temperatures across the region. We have a southerly breeze now, but as we head into the late morning and afternoon, those winds will shift out of the west. We've got temperatures in the 30s, but take a look at this weird oddity. I don't know, maybe it's a sign of things to come, but it's cooler in our southern counties than in the northern counties. We're into the 20s into parts of Oklahoma. And you factor in the wind chill. Some of us, the winds are fairly light, so we don't have significant wind chills at this point, but it does feel a little colder out there. So today, we're looking at highs into the mid to upper 40s. Believe it or not, in our southern counties, you may even make the low 50s out there. And we'll have that west wind gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour with a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. Now, clouds will thin back out a bit this evening. We got a cold but okay Friday, and then the weekend comes. And it's going to get interesting. We'll break down all of those details for you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon. Well, a few new laws are taking effect in Oklahoma this new year. Now, some of the laws relate to health care and voting rights. KOAM's Melissa Alexis explains how the new laws will affect Oklahomans.
With the new year comes some new laws in Oklahoma. Here's how one of these new laws will affect health insurance in Oklahoma. Corinne's law will require that health insurance plans cover fertility services like sperm and egg freezing for people going through cancer treatments. The Ensuring Transparency in Prior Authorizations Act also deals with health insurance. The law requires quick decisions on care, clear guidelines for denials and appeals, easy access to information about prior authorization, and protects ongoing care. The new Out-of-Network Ambulance Service Provider Act will set rules for how much you can be charged for an out-of-network ambulance ride. The payment is based on local government rates or a percentage of Medicare rates. Another law will allow some convicted felons the ability to vote. Some of the circumstances to be eligible include serving the full sentence, parole, or probation. Also, those who had a reduced charge, received a pardon, or commutation. Another new law expands workers' compensation beyond just physical injury for first responders, such as EMT and firefighters. It will now include mental health conditions like PTSD. Another new law in Oklahoma deals with taxes for infrastructure development projects. It makes more projects eligible for these tax credits or breaks and it increases the amount of money available for infrastructure spending. And for that law, the maximum tax credit for a project is $6 million. I'm Melissa Alexis reporting.
Now, for more information about new laws taking effect in Oklahoma, you can go to our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. One of the most common New Year's resolutions is losing weight. Now, every Body Fitness in Joplin is starting people on that path with 4 high energy classes during their New Year's New Energy event. Now, classes include pound, turn up, kickboxing, and step aerobics.
For me, it's not about the scale, it's about how you're feeling and surrounding yourself with people who are helping you along with your goals and realizing that life's too short to just worry about the scale and just surround yourself with people who love you and you'll eventually get to where you're good with it.
Now, while exercise is one element of being healthy, health experts say you should diet appropriately as well. Well, Freeman Health System in Joplin welcomes its first baby of the new year. Aurora Cooper entered the world at 5:08 yesterday morning, weighing 7 pounds and 7 ounces. We hear her parents, Hannah Rourke and Hayden Cooper of Dunaway, are excited about the arrival of their tiny bundle of joy, but very, very tired. Now, babies born in the new year and in the next 14 years will make up Generation Beta, the newest generation that experts predict will grow up with artificial intelligence in every aspect of their life. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Well, some local football players are headed to the Kansas Shrine Bowl. We'll have the details. Plus, Brazil rings in 2025 with a waterside celebration at a world-famous beach. And we have a warmer and windy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Sky Watch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
The high school football all-star game features 88 football players from across the state of Kansas. 6 local players have been selected to play for the East Squad in this summer's bowl game, including 2 coaches who were selected a month ago. Here's the full list of the names who will be heading west this summer. We're going to be starting with Humboldt QB Blake Ellis, along with Pitt State commit Luke Harris out of Fort Scott. That also includes Jace Midget from Columbus, the big tight end from Girard, Scott Moore, Cade Small from Chanute, and Aaron Tunstall out of Field Kenley in Coffeyville. The game will be played at Dodge City's Memorial Stadium on June 21st. The quarterfinal round of the college football playoff began on New Year's Eve and continued on to New Year's Day. Only 8 teams remain with a shot to win the national championship. So let's start with the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Arizona State facing the Texas Longhorns in Atlanta. Picking things up in the fourth quarter. Texas leads 24-16. Arizona hands it off to Cam Scatabo, who drives into the end zone to score the touchdown. ASU decides to go for 2. Scatabo gets the ball again, and that ties the game. Each team now has 24 apiece. Texas has a chance to win this game in regulation. Here's Bert Auburn for the game-winning field goal, but it's no good as it bounces off the upright. So we go to overtime. In the second overtime period, this game is tied at 31. Texas doesn't waste any time. Quinn Ewers throws this deep to Gunnar Helm for the 25-yard touchdown. Longhorns take a 39-31 lead. Arizona State has a chance to answer. Sam Levitt drops back and fires to the corner of the end zone, and that's intercepted by Texas, and the game is over. Sparky runs out of flames at the end. Texas wins 39-31 in double overtime. Another New Year's game was the Rose Bowl game in Pasadena, California. Ohio State plays for the top-ranked Oregon Ducks, who entered this game undefeated. But the Buckeyes built early took the lead, and they never looked back. Ohio State beats Oregon 41-21. The Buckeyes will play the Texas Longhorns in the Cotton Bowl next weekend. Notre Dame was scheduled to play Georgia last night at the All-State Sugar Bowl. However, due to the recent attacks in New Orleans, the game has been postponed and rescheduled for today. Kickoff for that matchup is set at 3 p.m. Still to come, broccoli sold at Walmart is being recalled due to listeria concerns. And I know everybody's talking about the weekend. We'll have a full look at that forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:15 now on this Thursday morning, and a lot to go over, so we will get right to everything. Now today, we have some clouds out there this morning. Believe it or not, they'll actually clear out a bit, and then they'll come back as we head into the afternoon. So by noon on the future track, the wind's beginning to shift out of the west, and as we head further into the afternoon, they will be out of the west, and we'll have this mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. No precipitation really expected. Again, Skywatch Storm Tracker, some very light flurries now northeast of Osceola. Not much out there, which is good. We were worried. We're not worried, but we had some thoughts about possible precipitation today. That's not going to come true. Now tonight, it's going to get cold and will be partly cloudy. On our Friday, we have the winds. They're now out of the north, but they're not gusting like they will be today. And we'll have mostly clear skies. So just a few clouds here and there. And temperatures, again, they're going to be colder than today, but still not terrible. Then we go into the weekend, and let me tell you, it is going to be interesting. And there's still a lot that can change, which is why you've got to stay weather aware with the KOAM Skywatch Weather app, and of course with the KOAM Skywatch Weather team right here, because we're going to monitor all these changes as they take place. But Saturday morning, clouds thickening up. We're going to have some rain, could have some freezing rain out there as well. This is at noon, and you can see where temperatures are colder, of course, is where the opportunity for some wintry weather will be. But on the future track, at this point, there's not much there that's showing up. It won't be until overnight and into Sunday that things get a little more interesting. Now, I want to tell you one thing. There's two long-range models that I was looking at this morning that suggest something very interesting. So we'll have to see how it plays out. It's a low-pressure system. It's going to ride the Kansas-Oklahoma border. As it tracks east, Saturday night into early Sunday morning, temperatures may actually rise overnight. And we may even make about 50 or 51 degrees at like 7 or 8 in the morning on Sunday. But then once it tracks east and we get on the backside, that's when that polar vortex kicks in and temperatures plummet 30, 40 degrees in a matter of a few hours. So that's what we've got to watch. So here's some of that long range day. As we go into Sunday evening, you can see some of that snow out there. We're expecting rain transitioning to freezing rain or sleet or a combination of those, and then eventually making a switch to all snow. So what happens with that? Well, we're going to break that down too. We do, believe it or not, have winter storm watches in our two far northern counties up here. So we're talking Anderson and Coffee counties. This doesn't officially go into effect until Saturday afternoon, and it runs through Sunday afternoon. So we'll see if any of that changes. Now here's some data that I want to show you, and this is what we're looking at, and this is where it also gets a little more confusing. This is one computer's interpretation of snow by Sunday evening. Okay, so we got a dusting to maybe 2 inches of snow. This is another computer's long-range interpretation of snow totals, and you'll see the difference that we're looking at. There's still a lot of variables. Now we're anywhere from 1 to 8 inches of snow by Sunday evening. You see that huge variance. That's what is going to get narrowed down as we head into the weekend. Now, ice is another possibility. Same two computers. This is one of their interpretation of ice as we head into Sunday. And you can see we've got, according to this one, some potentially pretty decent ice accumulations, mainly into our far northern counties. But then we look at another computer's interpretation of that same data, and now we're looking at not as much ice accumulation as we go into Sunday, but still also limited mainly into the northern counties. See, that's what we're talking about. There's about 100 variables between here and there that are going to change that we're going to keep an eye on. Temperatures this morning, colder in the south, which is rare. We're in the 20s. The rest of us into about the mid-30s. We got that light south breeze right now, so it's got our wind chills back down into the 20s and 30s. We'll be in the 30s to start, so cold, few clouds, then they'll start to thicken up. 44 by 11 a.m. Again, our west winds gusting upwards of 25. Highs today, upper 40s, maybe some low 50s. Colder tomorrow, upper 30s, low 40s. This is where the fun begins as we head into the weekend, so make sure you're keeping it right here to KOAM. Then we'll watch what happens with that Arctic air, as it could bring in some dangerously cold temperatures for a good portion of next week. Let's check your forecast. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Well, topping Health Watch this morning. A broccoli brand at some Walmart stores is coming off the shelves. The brand Braga Fresh issued a voluntary recall for its 12-ounce bags of market-side broccoli florets that were sold at Walmart locations in 20 states over concerns the product may have been contaminated with listeria. Now, Braga Fresh says the potentially contaminated broccoli is past its best if used by date, but those who kept their product their freezer should discard it immediately. The company reports no illnesses related to the recall. Well, leaders at the National Institutes of Health are calling for more action on bird flu. The agency says dozens of people in the U.S. contracted bird flu in 2024. A study of those cases shows symptoms were mild. However, scientists are concerned about a case in Canada where a teen became seriously ill. A report in the New England Journal of Medicine said the teen's heart, lungs, and kidneys failed, but she recovered after nearly 2 weeks in the hospital. The 13-year-old has asthma and is obese, but otherwise was in good health before she contracted the virus. The source of exposure is a mystery, and researchers are concerned the virus, which comes from wild birds, may be adapting to people, and that could increase the possibility of a person-to-person spread. We'll need some motivation to quit smoking for your New Year's resolution. Here is some. A new study out of England suggests a single cigarette cuts about 20 minutes off your life expectancy after accounting for socioeconomic status and other factors. Researchers at University College London estimated the loss of life expectancy per cigarette at about 17 minutes for men and 22 for women. Now, that means a pack of 20 cigarettes per day works out to be nearly 7 hours of life lost per pack. The study also includes mortality data on men from the British Doctor study and data on women from the Million Women study. Researchers found on average people who smoked throughout their lives lost about 10 years of life compared with people who never smoked. Well, a Colorado family is working to raise awareness of a rare genetic disorder. Now, their inspiration is their adopted son. And they also hope to inspire others to foster or adopt children with special needs. Carla Sosa has more.
Elijah is basically a full quadriplegic. He's got some movement, nonverbal. So there was lots of questions we wanted answered.
Becca Mullen and her husband first fostered Elijah when he was 12 years old. Once Elijah was under their care, they did several tests to learn more about his diagnosis, and that's when they learned about his genetic disorder.
It came back that cerebral palsy was not his diagnosis, and he actually has a very rare disorder, less than 1,000 cases noted, period.
Allen-Herndon-Dudley syndrome is a rare genetic disorder that affects a child's cognition, mobility, and overall health. Next year, the family is going to Texas for a clinical trial that will hopefully help Elijah.
We're going to start in Fort Worth, and then they're going to transfer us down to Houston for a time being, where they're going to put him on the medication, watch him for a little bit, take him off the medication, see his response, and then document it and put him back on it so that they can get it FDA approved.
They're also using social media to spread awareness on this topic. Becca is hopeful that with the new treatment, Elijah will have a better life.
We want to give him every opportunity we possibly can to allow him to enjoy what life has to offer him and spread accessibility, and that they are just like any other kid who wants to go out and do all those things. They just need a little extra help doing it.
Elijah and his family will go to Texas later this year for further treatment, and it should last about 6 weeks. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a bit of a cool day and breezy out there. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, visitors at the Crawford State Park brave the cool temps to hike into the new year.
And we've got ourselves some clouds out there. It's going to be a bit breezy, a little warmer. And of course, we got that weekend system. We will get you to that forecast to get you out the door today coming up.
Plus, a touch of chill in the air provided the perfect weather for a game of touch football in Webb City.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is, of course, January the 2nd. It is Thursday, so now we're officially, a day into the new year. It's going to be a great year because I said so.
All right.
All right.
We're going to make it. Good enough for me.
We're going to make it a great year. All right. The last few years have been chaotic and ridiculous and upside down. And I don't even know, what's been going on. But this year's going to be different. It's going to be better. We're all going to work together. We're going to make that happen, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's absolutely. Right. We will. We are going to make a good year. Mother Nature, though, of course, always has her own plans. And I know everyone's talking about this upcoming weekend. I will tell you, there's some information coming down from Springfield just a few minutes ago. Everything that I will show you later is not going to agree 100% with what they've sent down, but even they are saying it's still going to change. We'll get to all of that in a moment. But first, some of you rolling out of bed like I did, you're like, oh, I got work today.
Yeah.
I go out and do things. And we're going to tell you what you can expect as you go out to do things. And it is going to be cloudy for now, and then it'll be sunny, and it'll be cloudy again. Quick look outside our camera downtown Pittsburgh. I can assure you there are clouds. It's dark right now, but it is a bit on the cloudy side out there. But like I mentioned, these clouds will actually clear and then they'll make a return. Not the same ones, of course, but new clouds. MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin looking pretty good as well. Future track. So as we go into the morning, again, skies will actually clear a little bit, be mostly clear to partly cloudy, but as we head into the afternoon, the clouds will come back. Now through the morning, we're going to have a light south breeze, but as we head into the afternoon, winds will shift out of the west and they're going to begin to increase as well. We'll have gusty west winds pushing about 25 miles an hour. What's also interesting is the fact that right now it's actually colder in our southern counties than anywhere else, but you're probably going to be warmer than everyone else as we head into the afternoon hours today. And we'll have that mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies. All right, temperatures 35 in Joplin, 34 in Pittsburgh. I want to show you what I'm talking about. We head down to northeast Oklahoma. Usually, the further south you go, it's warmer. Not the case today. Look at Miami. It's 26. Same in Grove and Jay. So we're in the 20s in our southern counties and in the 30s up north. Wind chills, again, we have a light south breeze, so for some, it's not a major impact, but it is making it feel just a little bit colder out there. Highs today, most of us upper 40s, but what will go back to normal is our southern counties could be in the low 50s, a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies and those gusty west winds. We're going to talk in detail about what we're looking at as of now for this weekend, and I guarantee you it's going to be different tomorrow morning. We'll break down what we know and what you can expect here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, King Jack Park in Webb City provided the gridiron battlefield for a New Year's Day game of touch football. The event was hosted by the King Jack Touch Football Group and Rodney Rambo, pastor at the Rooted Church in Southwest Missouri. And for the pastor, touch football provides a fun and healthy way to kick off the new year.
Touch football or any kind of activity like this is just a fun way to stay active, start the year off in a healthy way, but in a way that's easily motivating with a little competition involved.
Well, King Jack Touch Football plays 1 to 2 Saturdays a month at the soccer fields at King Jack Park. Well, the Needle and Thread in Granby hosts its monthly Sit and Stitch, with it being traditionally held on New Year's Day. The Sit and Stitch is a way for people to get into all kinds of textile art, from crocheting to cross-stitching. Now, people brought their finger foods to the event and helped each other on projects.
We offer a craft or a hobby that is not offered right around here in Southwest Missouri. The closest shop like us is in Branson, one in Tulsa, there's St. Louis and Kansas City and Little Rock, and we're small, but we're growing. But it's a craft that's creative, it's affordable, it's portable anytime you're going. I don't go anywhere where I'm going to have to sit in a waiting room where I don't take my craft with me.
Well, some foods people brought included black-eyed peas and brownies. And some might say these chilly temperatures are perfect for a hike in southeast Kansas. KOAM photojournalist Ty Parks takes us for a drone's eye view of the first day of the new year out at Crawford State Park.
Just gets people outside first day of the year, lets them come out, enjoy nature, just start the new year off right. And obviously we have a lot of people here who get to see friends we haven't seen for a while and just enjoy the outdoors. So first day hike started in 2012 to statewide. Every Kansas State Park hosts first day hike.
I liked it because you can get exercise and it's like you get to see nature and stuff around you, and it's good to get up, and to me it means like I need to get more exercise this year because last year I didn't do much exercise, so this year I want to get more exercise and better. It's kind of like you get to experience it with your friends, and you know that because they might have fun with it too.
Just, we're busy during the summertime. Just let them know that, it's nice to come out here during the winter, even when it's cold. Still a beautiful place to be. We have a lot of trails to enjoy. We put a lot of work into them this year, and we hope people see the hard work we put into the place all year round.
And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Relatives gather to visit the site of the deadly plane crash in South Korea. Plus, we take a look back at how COVID-19 first started. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Well, topping World Watch, ringing in the new year in Italy. Thousands headed to Rome to usher in 2025. And many gathered outside the Colosseum. Handheld laser pens and flashes of fireworks exploded in the night sky around one of the nation's most adored landmarks. The celebration in Rome was one of many as countries around the world welcomed in the new year. They weren't the only ones celebrating. People in Brazil got a waterside view to ring in 2025 at a world-famous beach. New Year's Eve is all smiles and fireworks at Copacabana Beach. More than 2 million decked out in traditional white arrived by cruise ships and charter boats to watch the show. Barges shot off 12 minutes worth of fireworks to kick off the new year. Well, families of victims from a deadly plane crash in South Korea attended the site of the wreckage. Relatives came to the Muan International Airport on Wednesday to pay their respects to those who died on the Jeju plane that crashed last Sunday. All but two aboard the Boeing 737-800 plane were killed when it landed without the landing gear deployed and crashed into a concrete fence. Now, it was the deadliest aviation disaster in South Korea in decades. And safety inspections on all Boeing 737-800s have been ordered, while the Transport Ministry says maintenance and operation records are also being examined. Well, it's been 5 years since COVID first emerged, but the controversy over how it started is not going away. Greg Palkett has more from London.
It was a pandemic that changed the world. Exactly 5 years ago, December 31st, 2019, health authorities in Wuhan, China, alerted the World Health Organization about a cluster of pneumonia cases of unknown origin. At first, we called it coronavirus, then COVID-19. It ended up killing millions around the world, and the virus is still with us today. Now the WHO is urging China to come clean and share data about the origins of the outbreak, calling it a moral and scientific imperative. China pushed back almost immediately, saying it has not been holding back information that could have saved lives, and suggested the criticism is politically motivated.
China has always upheld the spirit of scientific openness and transparency. At the same time, we firmly oppose any form of political manipulation.
But significant questions remain about exactly how the pandemic started. The Chinese government claims it was a natural spillover from animals to humans, possibly from a so-called wet market. But many lawmakers on Capitol Hill and President-elect Trump suggested COVID-19 was developed in a Chinese research lab and leaked out into the city of Wuhan. Trump has hinted he might withdraw the U.S. from the WHO unless the organization gets tougher on China.
We're ready to work together.
Trump initiated the process for pulling out of the WHO in 2020, but it was reversed 6 months later when Joe Biden took office.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5:44 on this Thursday morning. Future track for today. We're going to go over a lot of data with you, a lot of information, and I guarantee you 24 hours from now, it's going to probably be completely different from what I'm going to tell you today. But that's the fun with winter weather and forecasting it, and how much difference track of a system can make if it moves just a little to the north or a little to the south. For today, though, skies are cloudy now. They're actually going to clear out for a little bit by through the morning hours, and then by late morning and into the afternoon, clouds will return. We'll have partly to mostly cloudy skies. Winds will shift out of the west, and they'll occasionally be gusting upwards of about 25 miles an hour. A cold front pushes through, and overnight, temperatures will drop and winds will shift out of the north. Thankfully, they won't be gusting, but it doesn't take much of a breeze when temperatures drop to make it feel colder out there. So we're going to start our Friday for most of us into the 20s. Throughout Friday, we're going to be mostly clear. Just a few clouds here and there. We'll have that north breeze out there, and temperatures will be colder tomorrow as well, only to the upper 30s and low 40s. Friday night into Saturday, temperatures drop again into the 20s, then we get more cloud cover. Saturday is what kicks off kind of this wild ride we're about to embark upon as we head into the weekend. As of right now, this is what the future track is suggesting. You can see it's a little warmer to the south, so we'll have some rain, could have some freezing rain or some sleet in some locations where temperatures are a little colder. We warm up, so if there's still anything falling, it'll be rain for Saturday, and then temperatures will drop again as we go overnight into Sunday. But some data suggests, and I looked at it this morning just before we went on the air at 5, both of these long-range pieces of data we look at show a low pressure that will track right along the Kansas-Oklahoma border and almost due east. As it does so, if this plays out, what will happen based on this data, and both of them say the same thing, temperatures will actually rise Saturday night into Sunday. And by Sunday, 6, 7, 8 in the morning, we could be as warm as 50, 51 degrees. But on the immediate backside of this is that Arctic air. If the pressure system, if that low pressure tracks down here, our northern counties will be cold regardless. But if you're along and south of that, you'll warm up before you get about a 30 to 40 degree drop in temperatures back behind it in a matter of just a few hours, which then will lead to the snow. So we'll have some rain that then will transition to freezing rain and sleet, and then possibly to snow. Now, some data from the Weather Service office in Springfield suggests that most of our area will end up getting rain. But that's also changed since yesterday, and it'll change again as we head into tomorrow. So what are we looking at? We do have a winter storm watch for Coffee and Anderson counties. Kicks in Saturday afternoon, runs through Sunday afternoon. It's the only winter weather advisory of any kind that we have. Here's one computer's interpretation of the snow from Saturday into Sunday evening. You can see anywhere from a dusting to 2 inches. Another computer, looking at the same information, came up with this interpretation, and you're going to see a stark difference in snow. Now we're looking at anywhere from 1 to maybe 8 inches. These are the variances that we're looking at. Then we even talk about the ice situation. And again, one computer suggesting decent amount of ice, especially in our northern counties as we head into Sunday. Look at this, almost an inch in some cases, which could be very bad. But then another computer looking at that same data suggests not nearly as much ice over the same area and over the same period. There's still a number of variables in play that we're going to have to be paying attention to. So keep the Skywatch weather app handy. Keep it here to KOAM. We're going to keep you updated on the, I'm sure, dozens of changes that'll take place even just in the next 24 hours. So again, today, upper 40s, maybe some low 50s, upper 30s, low 40s tomorrow. We'll see what plays out this weekend. The precipitation's a guarantee. It's just a matter of what and how much. Then we get that Arctic air. We're looking pretty cold as we go into the next work week, and then maybe a little relief by next weekend. That's Check Your Forecast. We'll be back with more right after this.
A first look at both Kristen Stewart's latest romance and Carrie Underwood's new concert special. Rick Damagella has more in the Hollywood Minute.
I don't know if you could tell, but it's date night.
Kristen Stewart and Stephen Yeun find romance. The pair star in Love Me as inanimate objects who learn about life and love through the internet long after humans have become extinct. This is your first look at the drama, which arrives in theaters on January 31st.
Are you ready to have a great time?
Carrie Underwood's Vegas residency comes home. The singer's hit show at Resorts World Las Vegas has been turned into a televised special titled Carrie Underwood Reflection. The event lands on Hulu and Disney Plus on January 24th.
There's no such thing as safe in this world.
A violent look at the Wild West. This is a sneak peek at the Netflix drama American Primeval, which follows the gritty birth of the American West. Taylor Kitsch stars in the limited series, which debuts on January 9th. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Well, a famous World War II submarine is finding a new lease on life as a popular overnight destination for thrill seekers looking not for an Airbnb, but for a sub-B&B. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Ahoy, sailor! Wouldn't you like to stay the night in this vintage submarine? I wouldn't, personally, but there are no doubt plenty of people who would love to go from landlubbin' to late-night subbin'. Wisconsin's Maritime Museum is banking on it and has made a full-on Airbnb listing for the USS Cobia, a storied World War II submarine the museum says is the best preserved in all of America. An overnight booking in the so-called sub-B&B includes 5 guests, but for a fee you could bring a fleet of up to 65 and reenact your own Das Boot in this boat, climbing through hatches to sleep in the command center, the engine room, the torpedo room, everywhere but the captain's quarters. Respect the rank, sailor. From a historic home away from home to a kidnapped dog that is finally home. This is the moment Olivia Gardner was reunited with Rags, her English sheepdog that has been missing since being taken from her home in Alabama by an unidentified intruder. But more than a year later, and thanks to an anonymous tip and cooperation between law enforcement agencies more than 1,600 miles apart, Rags was safely recovered in Arizona and reunited with his owner.
I can't even begin to explain how special today is. It really is a Christmas miracle.
You know it's not a miracle? The unceremonious end many a holiday tree meet when they're kicked to the post-Christmas curb. Well, one Massachusetts family farm is offering to recycle residents' spent spruces and finished firs by feeding them to their herd of hungry goats. They say not only does this tasty twiggy treat help naturally deworm the animals, but it's an eco-friendly recycling solution tree chuckers can feel good about. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
There's some pretty adorable goats there. Stick around. We'll be right back. Well, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar celebrates the bald eagle after President Biden made it officially the national bird of the United States on Christmas Eve. Although many citizens may already think the bald eagle was the U.S. national bird, it wasn't until Minnesota man Preston Cook, a collector of eagle memorabilia, wrote a bill asking lawmakers to make it a reality. Now, Cook has collected more than 40,000 pieces of eagle memorabilia stored in the National Eagle Center in Minnesota. This is the first time in the country's 248-year history that it has chosen a national bird. Belgian runner Hilde Dogseny is on her way to secure the Guinness Book World Record for the first woman to run a marathon every day of the year. After crossing the finish line for the 366th time this year on Tuesday, during the feat, Dogseny ran more than 9,500 miles and raised over $62,000 for breast cancer research. Now, Guinness approves the world record. Hilde will stand at the pinnacle, surpassing the previous record holder who ran a marathon every day for 150 days.
Boy, I was today years old when I found out we did not have the bald eagle as our national bird. Like I thought that was the thing, wasn't it?
Yes.
I'm
as
surprised. Like, yeah, I mean, it's a symbol of America. How was it? Well, at least it is now. I did not know that. And what I do know is it's going to be cold, a little chilly today, colder tomorrow. We're starting around freezing. We'll actually clear out a bit, see some sunshine, clouds thickening up later, mid-40s by 11 a.m. As we head into the afternoon, most of us looking at highs, upper 40s, maybe some low 50s in our southern counties with that west wind gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour. Skies will begin to clear a little bit late this evening and overnight. Will be partly cloudy, north breeze around 5 to 10, lows back into the mid to upper 20s, upper 30s, low 40s tomorrow. And then again, we are watching whatever is going to take place this weekend. What we can tell you is that we are expecting precipitation. It's just a matter of what kind and how much, and there's still a lot of variables, and we're going to keep you updated on that, of course. It's going to be cold. That Arctic air gets here by Sunday, though. Brings us some potentially dangerously cold temperatures, and we might get a little relief by next weekend. We do look to maybe warm up a bit, near 50 by Saturday. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.